This is massive that 5 is the number of joy. Okay, this is from the dawn of Scripture. Hebrew and Greek Gematria, the overwhelming majority of letters divides by 5 because it was base 10 from the beginning. Okay, Hebrew and Greek, and so the majority of letters that God has ordained to write the Scripture, that is to say Hebrew and Greek, divide by 5. Because the Hebrew and Greek Gematria letters, they go from 1 to 9, and then they go from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. In Hebrew, then you go 100, 200, 300, 400. In Greek, you go up to 800, okay? And I believe, 800, omega. So from the dawn of time, essentially, as far as meaningful written literature is concerned, the numbers that God ordained for the letters were all in base 10. And that is to say 5 is the most common multiple. 5 is the number of joy. Now, I have a really strong revelation here that every skeletal structure of every single creature that God made bears the image of the modern symbol 5. From the dinosaurs up until our own skeletal structure today, okay? The forward-looking head is the horizontal line, a neck that can rotate and turn that forward-looking head, whether you're a bird, an amphibian, a cheetah, a lion, an ancient dinosaur. The neck that rotates is the vertical stroke, and then the chest area down to the torso is the curved part of the 5 that comes out forth from the chest. You see this dramatically, and every creature, the cheetah, even the fish, even the whales, have a forward-looking head, a pivot point right behind it that can turn it a certain amount, and then a large body that comes out. And the 5, the curve on the 5, okay, is of course just like the billowing out of the torso. Rib cage, I had that word come to me just last night. Look at the 5s in rib cage, okay? It is the BC equals 5, flanked in IA, which is 10, and then RG is another 25, and then it ends in E, which is 5. So the letters rib cage is pure 5s. Chest is pure 5s. The word chest divides by 5. CHS is 30, and then TE are 20 and 5. And the word area divides by 5. So chest area. You can just keep solving more and more, but I have to get the revelation out there that because 5 is the number of joy, and literally God is sovereign. God is sovereign over everything in its development. Okay, the number 5, okay, is shaped like this: boom, boom, boom. That is in all creatures, and I mean all creatures. Forward-looking head, turnable neck, okay, to rotate that head, okay, and then chest, torso area, chest, abdomen. So the number 5 is literally at the center. And then, okay, of course, more obvious things, okay, like the average quadruped, mammals, reptiles, and humans typically have 5 fingers and toes on the end. But then also they have, like the 4 limbs plus the head, like it's like a star. You're like a walking 5. But the main thing in all creatures, like whether it's a dolphin, whether it's a kangaroo, whether it's a giraffe, whether it's an ostrich, a frog, all of the birds, any skeleton that you can think of, especially all the, even most insects, okay, they all bear this simple shape that God ordained in the number 5. Dun, dun, dun. And what is that? How does that work again? A forward-looking head. That's the horizontal line. A forward-looking head, like that, okay? A vertical neck that can turn the head, okay, so it can look around. Whether it's an owl that can really spin the head around, or it's like a fish that can just turn it a little bit, okay? And then ultimately, the body, the torso area, and that curve it covers the main area of the skeleton. Like I'm talking about the torso, the skeletal structure. And then I had the phrase, now this is so cool, you start doing the gematria and the words behind all this. So bones divides by 5, in perfect symmetry for the 5. Skeletons, plural, divides by 5. So there's thousands of skeletons down here for all the species. And then another term that came to me last night is skeletal structure. Okay, both words divide by 5. And I'm just telling you, face value, they divide by 5, but you spend the time analyzing the individual letters and how many 5s there are in there, it'll blow your mind. Okay, skeletal structure. You can feel the 5s with the T's, okay, the E. Skeletal is 85, structure is 145. Together that's 230. Bones is embarrassing 5s, skeletons, and just keep going. But the main thing I feel led to preach on, for the glory of God, this is so cool. Everything, the word animal equals joy. And there's just so much, like, same thing with cheetah and lion. But everything was created for God's joy. Think about this. Allow me to summarize. Everything, every creature, was created for God's joy. Now, this gets even better. The creatures I was just reading Genesis, there's so many 5s in that whole zone, it's like the hot seat. It is day number 5 that God begins creating the living creatures. It is day number 5 where he creates all the birds and he creates all the creatures of the sea. And then day number 6, he does the land animals and he does us made in his image. But it's day number 5 that literally the first skeletal structure gets created before the watching angels. And they're all shaped like 5s. Every one of them is shaped like the modern number 5. Now, I did my research and researched the development of the shape of the letter 5, and it's pretty cloudy, the history. And that's where you just accept what God has ordained today. Like, this is the cat's meow. This is the best of the best. This is like the now. This is the end of history, getting close to it, and it's not going to change. Everyone knows a 5 looks like this. All the babies being born are getting taught like this. It's baked on the computers. It's baked everywhere. 1, 2, 3 for a 5. Okay. And and then I was just excitedly, like, you go into the Hebrew, you go into all the Hebrew words in Genesis, and it's embarrassing how every letter divides by 5, and all the major roots, all the major strings, all the major verbiage behind the creation. It's so overwhelming. Okay, like, and that's why I'm so excited about this number 5, because from the dawn of Hebrew and Greek, it was base 10. Hebrew and Greek Gematria is in base 10. And so everything is 5s. Everything is joy. And so when you go to the very first words out of God's mouth, for example, and God said, let there be, it's E-he. It's 3 letters that divide by 5. It goes 10, 5, 10. So I'm staring in Hebrew off Blue Letter Bible. Let there be light in Hebrew is E-he or. But that let there be is the sacred set of letters that repeats for the creation of everything in the universe. E-he, 10, 5, 10, 25, 25, 25. And so I kid you not, this is a revelation from the Lord that every skeleton, including human skeletons, is shaped like a 5 in its torso. Forward-looking head, vertical neck, they can rotate that head, and torso, chest. Chest comes out, goes down. In all the creatures, lions, humans,